Greetings from Sammy's Camera and Sammy's CinemaWorks. I'm Benjamin, and I'm here at our cinema rental prep bay at our Hollywood store with Peter Marr from EOS Cinema. And Peter's giving us a first look at a brand new EOS camcorder, the XF605. Peter, it looks like there's a lot to look at here. Can you tell us where this sits in the lineup with the XF series?
Yeah, so with the XF series, it sits right between the XF705 and the XF405. Size-wise, price-wise, it has the same 3-ring structure as the 705, the same 1-inch sensor, but we also have a newer processor, Digic DV7 processor, and we've added a few more tools to the toolbox, so to speak, with this camera.
And this thing is really feature-laden, and we have a lot of clients that really want to rely more on a camera where they can have automated features and a great image. So electronic news gathering, people that work in deposition and law enforcement. Actually, there's a new kind of built-in time code recording, burned-in time code. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, you can actually burn in the time code or the time and date into the image when you record it, which law enforcement's been asking for a while.
Yeah, a lot of people asking for that. Also, house of worship or people that want to do live event coverage really love these cameras. They don't have to have an operator necessarily assigned to it. And with all the great automatic features, the autofocus, the audio, they can rely on getting a great image and great audio with the camera. Can you talk to us about the new frame rates, codecs, color profiles?
Yeah, so with this camera, you actually have the Canon Log 3 profile. We have a few different flavors of Rec 709, and you also have plenty of space to create your own look. So you can adjust your pedestal, you can do things like that to the image, put that onto a memory card and share it with other cameras. So if you are recording with multiple cameras, you can make them all have the same exact look. As far as codecs go, these are very similar codecs to what we would have on, say, the C70. So you have XFABC, you have H.264 or H.265, and you also have the ability to record proxies of the larger files.
Sure. So I see dual card slots on the camera. Can we divide our primary codec and our proxies across the cards?
Yeah, multiple options. You can record 4K to one card, 2K to another, XF with a proxy. There's plenty of options you can do that with. You can also record slow motion to one card or interval recording to one card, and you also have the option to record a WAV file to another card.
Sure. Well, let's talk about audio. So I see we've got XLR inputs on the top. It looks like you guys are doing a little bit more than just 2 inputs now.
Yeah, we keep the 2 XLR inputs and the mini mic jack on the side, but we do have a module that fits into this accessory shoe on top in the back here that does have 2 extra XLR inputs. So now, with the 4 channels of audio, you have the option to have 4 XLR inputs on here.
Great. Let's talk about other I/O on the camera. So can we go over video ins and outs, things like that?
Yeah, so as far as the outputs on the back of the camera, you do have your remote, your 422, you do have time code in and out based on the menu setting. You also have gen lock, you also have 12G SDI out, HDMI out. So you have SDI out and HDMI out, and you have the option to output both ports at the same time.
Great. So in monitoring, we can do simultaneously HDMI, 12G SDI, we have the EVF, and we can run this new touchscreen LCD. And so touchscreen LCD we've seen before on the EOS Cinema products, cameras like the C300 Mark III, C500. They have this touch control in the C70. Can you tell us how that's useful for our clients?
Yeah, so the touch control is going to be a little bit different on this than some of the previous versions of the XF series. We actually took the same touch control that you would have on the C70. So you have different icons in the top left or the bottom left corners, which are quick access to certain parts of the menu that a shooter would use on a regular basis. So if you want to change what goes to one card or the other, or if you want to change your color profile, even if you want to change just certain settings, like right to white balance, right to shutter speed, right in there.
Having that immediacy of the controls, both with the dedicated buttons and now with the touchscreen, makes that kind of run and gun shooter really love this type of camera. It's just got everything immediately at your fingertips. You're not menu digging when you need to find any type of adjustment.
Yeah, because there's a lot of times you're going to find yourself in a situation with this sort of a camera where you only have one chance to get it right. And anytime you have faster access to the tools to get that shot for you, that's what we think about when we design these cameras.
One thing I find with a lot of clients that come in and they're looking at camcorder lines, there's a misconception that these have sort of a digital video kind of DV cam type look, but with the 1-inch sensor, Canon log gamma built into the camera, you can really get a beautiful cinematic image.
Yeah, that's one thing that we started implementing on the XF605. We added Canon Log 3. We added that to this camera as well. With the larger 1-inch sensor, with that zoom range, you do get that shallower depth of field. You also are able to take this image and you can start to mix and match it with a lot of the cinema products too. On top of the fact that this camera can be as complicated or as easy as you want it to be.
Right.
So if you're shooting a sporting event or a house of worship and you have volunteers that come in, it can literally just hit record, zoom in and out, and you'll get a beautiful image out of it.
It's incredible how you can sort of hand off this camera and really rely on its automation for a beautiful image. Autofocus system in this camera is incredibly reliable, incredibly fast, and you have some new tracking and detection modes built into the autofocus system, right?
So we added the ability for the camera to track the eye, similar to what you would find in an EOS R. So now the autofocus is a little more advanced, a little bit faster, and again, it's just to help out with the person who needs it at that time.
So I understand there's a new kind of function built in for like a web camera type use, UVC PTP. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, basically you can use it as a webcam. So you don't need the extra HDMI adapter box. You can just plug it right in, use this as a webcam. You can take advantage of all the audio inputs. You can take advantage of the zoom range.
Great.
You can, if you're a single person streaming an event, you can stream it right from this camera.
Great. So the great thing here, we just got USB connectivity directly into the computer, and we don't need any additional HDMI capture cards or anything. So we have a really simple way to hit the ground running for live video broadcast type environments. So house of worship that can work with a single camera or event coverage, or even just video conferencing, we can get this beautiful Canon cinema image with almost no additional equipment. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Peter, we're looking forward to seeing this camera sometime around the fall, shipping at Samy's. We invite you, our customers, to come into our showrooms, learn more about the Canon cinema product lines and pro video products, see if this would be a good fit for you and your filmmaking, or go to samys.com, place a pre-order, or call your favorite sales technician here at Samy's so we can get you taken care of. Thanks a lot, Peter, for your time today. We're excited.
Thanks for having me.